All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely critical but often gets overlooked. It's that final stretch, that last mile that takes a brilliant idea and turns it into a product that people can actually use and love. This is where so many great concepts either soar or stumble. So how do we make sure we get it right?
So imagine this. You've done all the hard work. You've tested your idea. It actually works. The prototype is a hit. You're so close you can almost taste it. But this is the exact moment where the really tough questions start. What now?
Because in this final phase, the whole game changes. The question isn't, does the concept work anymore? We've already answered that. The question becomes, how do we make this thing real? Your whole team's focus has to pivot from theory to the nitty-gritty of practice. It's all about execution. Think of this first step like you're an architect, right? Before a single brick gets laid, you need a plan, a precise, super detailed, and totally unambiguous blueprint. This is where you lay out the final plan for your solution. And when we say detailing the design, we mean leaving absolutely nothing to chance. We're talking about every single screw, every type of plastic, every single measurement down to the millimeter. This document becomes the single source of truth, the master guide for everyone involved in production. A really solid blueprint is built on these three pillars. First, you lock in all the technical specifications. Then you decide on the exact materials you're going to use. And finally, you nail down every last dimension. If you get these three things right, you've created a super clear path for everyone to follow. Okay, so having a perfect plan on paper, that's great, but being able to actually build it in the real world, well, that's a whole other story. This brings us to the manufacturing reality check, where your beautiful design has to meet the factory floor. And this, right here, is the moment of truth. These are the make or break questions. I mean, it's one thing to make one perfect prototype by hand, but can you make thousands or millions? And can you do it efficiently without it costing a fortune? You see this conflict all the time. On one hand, you have the dream design, right? It's got these beautiful, complex curves, maybe some rare, fancy materials. But then manufacturing reality hits, and that often means you have to simplify shapes and pick more practical, cost-effective materials if you ever want to produce at scale. It's a negotiation. So, it all comes down to balancing your vision against these three huge constraints. How fast can we make it? How much is each one going to cost? And can we actually make enough of them to meet demand? Your final design has to answer all three of these questions. With a final, manufacturable design in hand, it is time to get ready for the last stage, liftoff. And listen, launching a product isn't just something you figure out at the end. It is a full-blown mission that needs its own detailed plan. And I really can't stress this enough. You could build the most incredible, world-changing product ever, but if no one knows about it, or how to use it, or where to get help, it's just going to sit on a shelf. The launch plan is the bridge between your product and the people who need it. A solid launch mission has three core parts. First, your marketing, how you're going to introduce this thing to the world. Second, a support system so your users feel confident and helped. And third, a way to keep evaluating how it's all going once it's out there in the wild. But here's the key. These aren't just three separate things on a to-do list. Not at all. They have to work together, perfectly in sync, as one single cohesive strategy. Each part has to support the others for your launch to be a real success. So, after all of this, the detailed blueprint, the tough manufacturing checks, the careful launch plan, what's the point of it all? Well, it all comes back to a single, really powerful promise that should have been guiding you from the very beginning. And this is the mindset that changes everything. You're not just shipping a gadget in a box. You're not just pushing code for an app. You are delivering a genuine solution to a real problem for a real person. That's the whole purpose. And in the end, this is the only yardstick that matters. Does your creation, does your solution truly meet the needs of the people it was designed for? That's it. That's the ultimate measure of success. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one thought to chew on. As you're navigating that final, critical mile from a cool idea to a real-world product, just stop and ask yourself, is your focus on the thing you're building, or is it on the person you're building it for? Thanks so much for tuning in.